Hey, welcome to episode 729 of today's Antidote. We're starting a new week and we're going to talk about sharing your gifts. How timely, right? You're probably rushing around finding gifts or wishing you had found gifts, or you've got all your gifts and you have to wrap all your gifts. You're thinking about gifts 24/7 right now. Well, we're going to think about gifts in a different way. We're going to talk about the benefits of sharing your gifts. All that and more on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Bob. How are you today?
I'm good. That was one of my better openings, I got to say. I like that one. Topical, timely, got all the bullets in there. I'm feeling really good about myself right now.
Didn't say today's antidote.
I did not. All the trap doors that I could have fallen into, I did not fall into for once.
Well done.
That's, you know what? That's going to be my celebration today.
Wow. Okay. Well, hold on to that for a second.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll wait. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Antidote, our show where we talk about people and, how they go on their own unique pathway towards success. And if you're listening to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn Live, baby. LinkedIn Live, baby. With a chuckle. And then, so you can comment on any of those and you can tell us what you think. And if you want to tell us, that'd be great, because someone might really value what you have to share. And when you share, you give your value. And that's what really is great about the world we live in. And we really like that today. And so with that, can we go to celebrations?
Dive right in.
Want to know the funny thing, Tom? People paid more attention to that than they have the last 8 weeks.
Is that because you said it?
They're going, yeah, because I said it in a funny way.
Okay. Or are you making fun of me?
No, I wasn't making fun of you. I was just giving it a different spin.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I'm not. Believe me, Tom. All kidding aside, I respect and appreciate that you do the heavy lifting on that stuff, because I don't want to. I would, I can only do it because I pay attention to you doing it. In case something happened to you, I feel like I'd have to pick up the torch.
Okay, fair enough. You want to dive into your celebration then?
I am. So my celebration, two now. One is you put up with me, which I appreciate. And two, I really enjoyed the opening. I thought it was really, we do these each day. We don't script them. One of us does them. And there are days where I fall into a trap of all this and more on this is today's antidote or some silly thing. I don't know. I say today twice, and sometimes you forget the episode number, and sometimes I can't remember the topic one day last week. So I kind of nailed it today, and that's good. It's good for a Monday. What are you celebrating, Mr. Brush?
Today I'm celebrating. It's fascinating how things come back in life. So when I was a little kid, not a little kid, when I was a high school person.
Okay. Tommy, we're telling stories about Tommy.
No, we're not.
No Tommy? Okay.
No. My uncle owned, they sold Christmas trees at the holidays.
Okay.
They had a Christmas tree farm, and so a couple of weekends, usually 1 or 2 weekends, if I didn't have anything going on, I would work for him, which meant that the tree farm was about, I don't know, 10 or 15 miles from where they sold them there at their house. And so my role was to get in the car, ride in the truck. My uncle would go and cut down trees. I would drag them to the truck. We'd throw them on the truck, drive them back to the place, dump them off the truck, slide them to wherever they were supposed to be, then repeat, rinse and repeat all over throughout the day.
How many trips would you make in a day?
Oh, we might make 3 or 4.
How many trees in the truck each time?
So it was just a
20,
pickup truck.
25?
No. I bet if we got maybe 20.
Okay, wow. How much
the
sap did you have covering your body? Ugh.
I don't know. I was a kid. I didn't think about it. I was actually getting paid. And I was
Oh,
cold. It was in upstate New York.
I hate getting sap all over me.
Well, you wear gloves. And you wear a beat up old jacket, and
yeah.
There's a lot of interesting things about it. So this was my uncle. They had a couple of boys who were probably 4 and 6 years older than me.
And smart enough to have moved out so they didn't have to do it, right?
Oh, no, they were there. No, because they would have been in high school, and I was like in junior high or something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. And there was just a family that I liked hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of kids, and they had so it was just a fun time. And it was cold because it was upstate New York. It wasn't down here,
right,
where, as I'll get to, it was, whatever the temperature was on Saturday. It was beautiful. Anyhow, so it was something that I did, and I enjoyed doing it. Well, funny as it may, we moved to a place that we're 3 doors down from a place that sells Christmas trees and has some horses. And so my family's been connected with the family over there. And my daughter and wife have gone over and helped for probably the last 2 or 3 years.
The Christmas tree operation.
Yep, the Christmas tree operation.
The selling, yeah.
Now, there's a little bit different. You go on the property and you walk out and you cut your own tree down, or they bring in some pre-cut ones from central Pennsylvania. Okay. And so they were a little short on people. And so they asked if I would be willing to help. And I was like, sure, I'm happy to help. And so Saturday morning, my daughter, who unfortunately was sick, was like, oh, I'm sorry I get to miss your first Christmas tree. And I was like, well,
no,
I haven't told you this story before. I've done it before. And so I went over both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was cool, but the sun was out, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, Saturday was
like
gorgeous.
I was like taking layers off. It was so warm because I was moving trees and doing other things.
Yeah.
And and then yesterday it was a little damper and a little rainier, and yet it wasn't freezing cold. It was just cold.
So you didn't watch the Buffalo Bills game?
I live in Baltimore. I'd have had to go into a bar or a restaurant or something because the Ravens were on. So I didn't get to watch the game. No.
Okay.
And the thing of my celebration, one, is that it was fun to go back and do. I've forgotten how much I enjoyed that. Mostly, you get to hang around people, and their family is nice, and they had some friends that were working that were.
People coming to get a Christmas tree are in good moods usually.
That's my celebration. Is that it's so fun to see them like try to figure out like which is the
best tree.
I didn't want to go into my whole nothing's really perfect, and why are we chasing?
I was gonna say, did you hold that at the door? Because I can picture you. Look, it's what's real in the moment. I don't think that's going to go with the family fighting over a Christmas tree.
No, and there's never going to be all that stuff. And it was, it's just fun to watch like families who, that's their thing. They go out and cut down their own tree, and then they drag it up and take it home. And then there were ones who went over. I was in the pre-cut section, and the little kids standing there like trying to figure out. There was a family of 3 with 3 little kids, and the middle child like immediately walked over and pointed this tree. And then they start looking, and let's look a little bit. And he was so persistent for a little bit about this one tree. And then they shifted to this other type of tree, and we're looking at it. And so finally, so they had like the 2 boys had picked out 2 trees. The one who initially really liked this tree then went for another tree. And his a little bit older brother went to the tree that the one middle child had definitely liked in the middle. And then, so of course, then they had a younger daughter. and she was probably 3, maybe. And kind of whatever tree she happened to be looking at the moment was her favorite tree.
The tree.
Yeah. And so just to watch like people standing say, well, which is yours? And this is which one do you like? So anyhow, this little girl finally, they like sort of set her between the two with one pointing at one pointing at the other, standing next to the other. And she ended up picking the tree that the middle child had wanted initially. And then he was like kind of disappointed that his first choice, which wasn't his last choice, was the one that actually got chosen. It was just a fun day, fun weekend of just being around people who are, for the most part, happy. You know, there's some people who are like, I only want a 10-foot tree, and yeah, you and half the rest of the world, and they're none of them out there.
I can't imagine why are these so expensive this year? I bet
why are they so expensive? And it is a little reality does set in when you look at the prices today. And I clearly remember, for whatever reason, like the trees that we had, he usually had 2 different types. It was usually a Douglas fir and like a pine.
Okay. Yep.
And the pines were usually shorter and stockier, and he liked to cut them. He liked to let them be really fat trees. And they were $8 and $12 depending on the size. And the Douglas firs,
I remember buying trees when I was a kid, $20. You gave the guy the tip. You gave him the 20, and you were like the greatest person.
You were good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
now 20 wouldn't even get you a wreath.
No. And it just was fascinating. It was like one shared to me how long ago that was. And so overall, it was just a fun experience to do that again and really kind of be a part of other people's, some of their traditions, some of the, like one people literally had a 2-year-old granddaughter with them. They pulled up in a truck, and the woman in the car pointed without getting out of the car. The guy got out, walked over, we grabbed it, he went and paid for it, and that was it. He's like, yeah, we have this 2-year-old, we just did the whole Santa thing. Our kids, this daughter,
we're done. We need a tree.
We're like, yes, we just need to get out of here.
Stupid holiday.
It was, and then it wasn't like the stupid holiday. It was more the grandparents with their 2 or 3-year-old grandchild that they have spent a lot of time with, and this is like, check this off the box. We got a tree, so we can take it home and decorate it. So, it was a fun day. Weekend.
It moves into our topic, right? You were sharing your gift, a gift you have. You like being around people. You like helping people figure things out. And I can imagine that you were sharing a lot of your gifts with people, even if one of those gifts was to let them have the family moment and not explain to them, there isn't such a thing as a perfect tree. It's really the tree that's real in the moment, which I could see you. I bet you were biting your lip a number of times.
And it's all based on your knowledge and experience. For some people, the perfect tree is short and fat. It was.
Talk about a great spoof we could do of everything we do. I want to come out there and just record that one. You explained
all this to them all they wanted to do was pick a tree. We weren't coming out to get this whole lesson on what's right or wrong.
You and I could do that video one day this week, and we get a lot of attention.
It could be interesting to do.
It really could. I'm willing to drive out and do it.
We'll show up at the farm, and the people be like, "What the heck are you two knuckleheads doing?" So.
I get that all the time. So let's talk about sharing our gifts. And I do think it's a great example. And it's interesting to me that your smile on your face, and as you told this story, you were enjoying telling this story because you were sharing the gifts. And I think that's one of the real benefits. When we're sharing our gifts, one of the benefits is it brings us joy, and it brings the people around us joy. And I think that makes a difference. I think so much of what we end up doing, we have to do. The obligation stuff. Like the family, I'm sure there was one that came out like, we got to get a tree. Second week of December, we need a tree. And I don't care, Douglas fir, Fraser. I don't. just, is it green and can we put the ornaments on it? And let's make sure, I don't want needles on the living room floor. There's that versus the people that, like the family with the 3 kids, who took a lot of time to pick the tree for this year. And
Yes.
when we share our gifts, it's more like picking the tree for this year. You know, I watched someone decorate a tree at my place, and this person like really put a lot of effort into it. And I like decorating trees. I think they're beautiful when they're decorated. This person was really strategic about it in a way that it was a gift. Like, just to watch this person really care to the level they did. And I think when we share our gifts, it gives other people an appreciation. You know, the person who has a gift to be able to paint. And they give you this beautiful gift of a painting that just, there's something to it. And I think, you know, when we have artists to do artistry, it's easier to see the gifts. I think a lot of the gifts that we have are internal, like your ability to just be fun with the people. You know, I'm sure there were times over the 2 days where you diffused some potentially tense situations with just a joke or just a little this or a little that. And that's a gift as well. And I think I don't think we can see 1/10 of the benefits of our gifts. And the reason I say that is I've taught college courses on and off for almost 30 years. Every now and then I'll run into a former student, and what they remember of the class is practically never the academics. It's never what they learned in the class. Like, I still remember you talking about how much you liked your nieces and nephews. I still remember you told this story about this time when you were in high school that really spoke to me. I didn't know those were gifts. They were in the moment. And I think that's one of the benefits that we can talk about the benefits today, but I don't think I can see 100 of the benefits. In fact, this program, you know, we do this program, we don't see the benefits of this program very often. It's not like we can say, we reach this person this way in this day. And I've had people say to me, it's like, why do you do this every morning? It's like, for one reason, Tom and I really enjoy just the time together. I said, it's really valuable to me just to have time with Tom. And then I find things out as we go. I think Tom finds stuff out, and I think there are people, and every now and then we get someone who's like, oh, I love this. Oh, it really spoke to me. And every time it happens, I'm like, I had no idea this person was paying attention to this. I just, and what they hear is even more fascinating to me, because it's rarely the theme that we're working on. It's usually some, you know, like someone probably will watch or listen to this and go, oh, you know what? I should go out to a tree farm, a family tree farm. That sounds like a fun experience. So the gift you made, giving without even thinking about it, is having someone go out to a family tree farm versus go to a place where you can just pull the tree off the shelf and move on. And I think so much of this is really out in space. What do you think?
There's a lot to,
you know, it's Monday.
Fired up today. You had your celebration ready to go, and you know, it's interesting to me.
I know the cause of this, Tom, but that's another story. I got a good night's sleep last night.
Good to hear.
I didn't stay up for the football game.
Fair enough. You know, I think that the benefits is that I actually think everybody benefits would be one of, you know, one of the thoughts I have is that, you know, as much as I think the fact that, you know, I try to be pleasant and fun and help people out, and I think that's a benefit for them, for their experience. And yet I think them sharing their family experience or their personal experiences around how they pick a tree. You know, everyone has their own. It's funny the stories you hear as you go through it, you know, like people talking about, well, we've always had this and this is what we always do. Or this person talking a little bit, well, how is this tree going to fit into the space that they have for it? And I just think that like that was a benefit for me, is that that it allowed me to not only think of my past experiences. I think that changed my perspective. Not changed, but it just allowed me to have a perspective that made it easy to share my gifts with others. Like it didn't feel like customer service, and it didn't feel like if I pulled one more tree away from the wall to stand up for somebody to look at, that was a burden.
Yeah, you don't sound like you were working those 2 days.
No, I mean I was tired at the end of them, and
but you were working.
Yes,
and I think when my gifts are being used, it doesn't feel like work.
Correct. You're just out there sharing what you have to offer and how it can have an impact on others. And I think that's because I feel like I got as much out of that whole experience as the people who were buying a tree got out of it, and they probably don't even think about that. They just think about the experience of buying a tree and maybe being with their family and doing that. It's not I don't know that they think about the collective of. And again, I was there as somebody helping out for one weekend.
Right.
And, I also got to talk to the owner, and they got a whole bunch. They got more trees than they did last year that were pre-cut. And, I think they're concerned about how many had they sold and where were they at. And because, of course, it is still
the weather hasn't been favorable on the weekends.
Right. And the weather has been on and off. And, and so I think that there's some of those concerns that I didn't have. I was just there to help this family and help others. And I think one of the real benefits I got of going there to help and share my gifts was I received a lot back in return.
Isn't that our ultimate gift, though? Is just being able to help others?
Yeah, I think so. Either that or
Sorry, did you get some feedback? For some reason, Siri wanted to play.
I heard just a little bit of it, and I wasn't really sure where that voice was coming from. I thought maybe
you were. It was Siri. Siri heard something. I don't know what she heard, but
maybe help you or something like that.
She wanted to help. Yeah. If only.
Well, I think the thing is that, and maybe we'll get into this as well with challenges later in the week.
Don't do it. Don't ruin it. Come on, we got to get through a whole week.
Not. I think it also relates to benefits.
Okay.
Is the sharing your gifts will have an impact on people. And we never really know what that's going to look like. I'm sure there might have been some people who were there who didn't want me to follow them around and offer to help and do it. They just wanted to be left alone to go pick their tree. And yet in the long run, they may look back and see the benefit to them or of me trying to be more helpful. And I think sometimes that's the worry is we worry about the benefit. Maybe this is my one thing. We worry about the benefits that we are going to receive or somebody else is going to receive and them seeing it as a benefit. And so sometimes we don't share our gifts.
Right.
Because we're worried about what are the results going to be of sharing them. And I think that one of the real benefits is that when we share our gifts, we have a chance to have an impact on someone. That impact, the results of that impact is going to be different. They might have there might be an immediate result to the impact, and there might be something that they look back at a future date and remember and think about that and say, that's interesting. And I think one of the things was the opportunity to share my gifts yesterday allowed me to have some really great memories, things that I remember about working at my uncle's tree farm that really had an impact on me. And I imagine that I knew that at the time, although I don't know that I would have considered all the benefits of it that I do see now.
And we don't even see all the benefits. You have no idea all the people you interacted with over those 2 days. You may have just smiled at the person at the right moment and they're like, oh, it's Christmas. I should be happier. We just don't know. It's the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
And I think the more we're in that sharing our gifts opportunity, the more we have the ability to have a positive influence on things, big, small, you name it.
Or just an influence. Let
Right.
someone else determine whether
Right.
it's positive or
Right.
something else.
I fell into it, damn it. So I think my one thing is that we just don't know. And that to me is the ultimate benefit. We don't know that when we're sharing our gifts, all the effects we could have. But I've got to believe they're far many more than we realize. You know, just the fact that you probably helped someone get their tree wrapped up so it could go in their van so they didn't have a big fight over how Aunt Martha's going to fit in there for the dinner or whatever. I mean, that, you know, little things that to you, it's like, yeah, I just was putting the wrapping on it. But to them, makes a big difference. And I think we have those things all day happen to us in ways that change our day. You know, it's very rare that we have a day alone. And, you know, if you go back to the COVID days, we kind of saw what days alone were like. And what were people saying? I really miss being around people. I know someone who was like, I never realized how much I needed to hug people until they couldn't.
Right.
And so I think that's part of it. You know, the gift is to be able to do those things.
Awesome.
All right. Well, it's going to be a wild week. And I have written a new song. I've taken Last Christmas and turned it into a funny song about guitar. And I'm going to share that gift, and we'll have to talk one day this week. You want to talk about worrying about sharing your gift? I got some serious worries about this one. Might have to coach me through it.
Might be a good thing for challenges, sharing your gifts.
There you go. Okay. All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being a part of our show today. If you have one thing you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments around sharing your gifts and the benefits, because it might be something that someone else had never considered. And you may never know. And yet the value that you provide is a benefit and an opportunity for someone else to be impacted. So please feel free to share those thoughts and ideas. If you're listening to the podcast, we understand there isn't really an opportunity to create comments. That's why we have created two groups. Our LinkedIn group, if you're a LinkedIn person, the Renegade Success Network for Leaders. If you're a Facebook person, you can go to the Ring of Renegades. In both of those groups, you can share your thoughts and ideas and gain from the thoughts and ideas shared by others, because it might just be the one thing that you need to help take your next step along your own unique pathway to success. So we look forward to seeing you inside of those groups. If not, we'll see you here tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time for our next episode of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegading you. It is worth it. And share those gifts. The benefits are many.
You know how you can make it a great day? Go out and share your gifts with others.
I like it.
All right. See you soon, everyone. Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.